Have you ever felt so tired that you no longer knew why you were tired? Have you ever laid down to rest, yet your mind kept running faster than your heartbeat? So listen to this story slowly, because you may find yourself inside it. Once upon a time, in a small village surrounded by towering mountains, there lived a young man named Marco. Marco was only 24 years old, an age many people call the most beautiful time of life. But for Marco, youth felt heavy, like a backpack filled with stones. Marco was not poor, nor did he lack food or shelter, yet deep inside, he felt an emptiness he could not name. A quiet uneasiness followed him everywhere, like a shadow that never left his feet. What troubled Marco the most was not the world outside, but the world inside his own mind. His mind was never still. From early morning until nightfall, thoughts flowed endlessly through his head. They came and went without pause, overlapping each other, pulling him back into the past and pushing him toward an uncertain future. At times, Marco would sit silently by the window, gazing at the fields in front of his home, while his mind wandered far away. He replayed old memories, mistakes he wished he had never made, words he wished he had never spoken, chances he had let slip away. Then, without warning, his thoughts rushed toward the future, filled with unanswered questions. What if I fail? What if I am not good enough? What if everything goes wrong? Does this sound familiar? Because many of us live exactly like Marco, without even realizing it. These thoughts drained Marco's energy day after day. At night, when the entire village had fallen asleep, Marco would still lie awake in bed. He stared at the ceiling, listened to the wind slipping through the cracks in the door, while his mind refused to rest. Some nights he barely slept at all, simply lying there as his thoughts carried him away like a flood. Slowly, Marco forgot when he had last smiled. Smiling had once come naturally to him, but now it felt distant, almost foreign. He still talked to people and worked every day, yet deep inside, he felt as though he was living without truly living. One afternoon, while resting at a small tea stall near the entrance of the village, Marco overheard some travelers talking. They spoke of a distant village hidden among the hills, where a very special old man lived. He used to be a famous psychologist in the city, one traveler said. He helped many people find peace in their minds, another added. But he left the city and its fame to live close to nature. Creo grew quiet as he listened. A question suddenly arose in his mind. Could such a man really exist? People said that the old man sometimes welcomed visitors. He did not treat illnesses or give long lectures, simply listened and offered a few simple words. Strangely enough, everyone who met him left with lighter eyes and steadier steps. Marco did not know why, but his heart beat faster as he listened. A small, fragile hope like a candle flame in the wind began to glow inside him. Maybe I should go and meet him, Marco thought. Perhaps he can help me find peace. The decision came suddenly, yet felt unmistakably clear. The next morning, Marco packed a few simple belongings, said goodbye to his family, and began his journey. The road to the hill village was not easy. Marco climbed steep slopes, crossed dense forests, and walked along rough, rocky paths. Some days the sun burned his back. Other nights, the cold forced him to curl beside a small fire. Throughout the journey, his mind never stopped speaking. What if this is a waste of time? What if nothing changes? What if it is all just a story? Yet whenever these thoughts appeared, Marco remembered the tired eyes he saw in the mirror. He kept walking. After many long and exhausting days, Marco finally saw the village resting among green hills. There was no noise of the city, no smoke or dust, only the sound of the wind, birdsong, and the fresh scent of grass and trees. The village was so quiet that Marco could hear his own breathing. He asked a few villagers for directions and was led to a small house standing alone at the edge of the village. It was covered with greenery and wildflowers, simple, yet strangely warm. On the porch sat an old man. His eyes were closed, his back straight, his hands resting gently on his knees. His face was calm and peaceful, as if nothing in the world could disturb him. Marco stood there for a moment, afraid to speak. Just looking at the old man, Marco felt his heart beat slow. Finally, he stepped forward and spoke softly, as if afraid to break the silence. "Grandfather, my mind is very restless. I cannot stop thinking. I want peace in my heart. Can you help me?" The old man slowly opened his eyes. His gaze was deep and clear, as if he could see everything Marco had been hiding. He smiled, a gentle, warm smile. "So you are looking for peace," the old man said. "Then come with me. I will give you a small task." Marco was surprised. He had expected a long explanation or wise advice. Without another word, the old man stood up and led him into a small garden behind the house. The old man took a glass and filled it completely to the top. The water was so full that even the slightest movement could make it spill. He handed the glass to Marco and said, "Carry this glass from here to the edge of the village and then come back. But remember, you must not spill even a single drop of water." Marco looked at the glass, then at the old man. He did not understand what this had to do with peace of mind. Still, he nodded. Some lessons can only be understood through experience, not explanation. Marco began to walk. The road through the village was narrow and busy. People passed by, some walking slowly, others rushing. Shopkeepers called out to customers. Children laughed, and dogs barked in the distance. But Marco did not look around. His eyes stayed fixed on the glass. He walked slowly. He breathed carefully. With each step, the outside world seemed to fade away. And then, something strange began to happen. As Marco continued walking through the village, something unusual began to happen inside him. For the first time in a very long while, his mind was not jumping between memories and worries. It was not replaying the past, nor was it rushing ahead to the future. Instead, his attention rested entirely on one simple thing, the glass of water in his hands. Every step he took felt deliberate. Every breath felt real. Every movement mattered. Marco noticed how steady his hands had become. He felt the weight of the glass, the coolness of the water, and the rhythm of his own footsteps. The world around him still existed, but it no longer pulled him in different directions. And without realizing it, Marco felt calm. Not the kind of calm that comes from avoiding problems, but a deep, quiet stillness, one he had never experienced before. He reached the edge of the village, turned around, and slowly made his way back. When he finally arrived at the old man's house, the sun had begun to soften in the sky. Marco carefully handed the glass back to the old man. "Grandfather," he said with a quiet sense of pride, "I did it. I didn't spill a single drop." The old man nodded approvingly and smiled. "That is good," he said gently. "But now tell me, while you were walking, did you notice the children playing by the road? Did you hear the shopkeepers calling out or the dogs barking?" Marco paused. He searched his memory, then shook his head in surprise. "No," he admitted. "I didn't see or hear any of that. I was only focused on the glass." The old man's smile deepened. That, he said softly, "is the lesson you have been searching for." Marco looked at him, confused yet curious. "When your mind is fully present," the old man continued, "there is no space for fear, no room for regret, no energy wasted on thoughts that do not serve you." He gestured toward the glass. "While you were focused on this water, your mind became quiet. You were not suffering from the past, and you were not afraid of the future. You were simply here." Marco felt something shift inside him. Slowly, understanding began to dawn. All this time, the old man said, "You believed peace was something you needed to find somewhere else. But peace is not outside. It has always been within you, waiting for you to return to the present moment." Marco lowered his head, his eyes filling with emotion. "So, my restless mind," he said slowly, "it wasn't broken?" The old man shook his head. "No," he replied kindly. "It was only wandering." Marco took a deep breath. For the first time in years, it felt full. "I understand now," Marco said. "If I want peace, I must learn to stay with this moment. That is where real peace lives." The old man nodded, as he said, "Life happens only now. Not yesterday, not tomorrow. Only now." The sun was beginning to set. Golden light touched the ground, and birds flew back to their nests. A gentle silence wrapped around the village. Marco stood up, bowed respectfully, and thanked the old man. As he began his journey home, something felt different. The road was the same, the mountains were the same, but Marco was not. His steps were lighter, his breath was calmer, and his mind, once a storm, had learned how to rest. Marco knew his thoughts would return. he knew challenges would still come. But now, he carried a simple truth with him. Peace is not the absence of noise. Peace is the presence of awareness. And whenever his mind began to wander again, he would remember the glass of water and gently return to the present moment. If this story touched your heart, it may be because it reflects something within you. If you found value in this story, please like it and share it with someone who may need peace today. Subscribe to our channel for more inspiring stories that calm the mind and awaken the heart. Until we meet again, stay present, stay mindful, and may peace always begin within you.